Do your lowball wholesale offers go like this? Mr. Seller, will you take $100,000 for your property right now?
No, how dare, get out of my house right now!
Guys, listen, if you've experienced this video is for you. I'm gonna walk you through how to make a lowball offer without pissing off the seller and actually getting a wholesale deal. So, do me a favor, before I get into it, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's walk through on how to properly make a lowball offer. Now get out. So, lowball offers. I know you guys hear a lot of negative connotations on it, and I'm here to tell you, the art of wholesaling is buying the property for as low as humanly possibly allowable. So it makes common sense that you're gonna have to make low offers. So we don't even hide the fact of what we do. Now a lowball offer just means you're buying it for the lowest price possible. If the situation does not dictate it, meaning they are not a motivated seller and they don't need to sell, don't worry. You'll be wasting your time on a lowball offer. So make sure you're focusing on sellers that need to sell, that are motivated. If you need to learn more how to do that, go over to freewholesaling.com. We teach you how to do that. This only works on people that are motivated, that need to sell. Makes sense? Okay, so you also have to understand there's two things that every seller wants. And if you understand the mechanics of how a great wholesale deal works, then you know how to put it together. Number one, you have to build trust. Sellers want to trust who they do business with, right? Makes perfect sense. Do you want to do business with someone who's not trustworthy? This is your first step in meeting with a motivated seller. Now, if you're on the phone or you're doing it in person, establishing trust, you have to earn it. It's never just going to be given to you. How do we earn it? It's super, super simple. Number one, we have to find commonality. Now, if you're at somebody's house, this is super simple. You look for pictures on the wall, you look for family stuff, make a connection. If you're on the phone, you're gonna have to be a little bit more creative. Maybe you look at their social media profile, you find out what their interests are, their hobbies, their sports teams, their families, their daughters, their sons, their wives, their husbands, whatever it is. Find something that you can talk about outside of real estate, because people want to know that you're a human, that you're relatable, and the easiest way to do that is simply just doing commonality. Now, the next thing I want you to do is mirroring. And this is just basically mimicking your sellers. If I'm in front of somebody and they're loud, I'm going to be loud. If they talk soft, I'm going to talk soft. Just mirror them. It is a human psychology that if you mirror people, you automatically gain their trust to a point. Why? Because people like people just like themselves. And you and me both know that if you're loud and obnoxious, you like loud and obnoxious people. If you're quiet and reserved, you like quiet and reserved people. So mirroring works. It works in person. It's 10 times more effective in person. If you want to mirror somebody on the phone, you got to make sure you use your ears and be a super, super sharp listener. Remember, your goal is to gather intel from your seller to help them solve their problem of selling their home. Now, the one that most people don't talk about in our business is simple authenticity. And what do I mean by that? People don't want people in formal business suits coming in their house. They want people that are relatable, just like them, that can help them solve their problem. So if the first thing is we have to do trust, we put this all together, and this is basically known as rapport building. Now, let me stress this to you. You cannot, let me repeat, you cannot make a lowball offer without gaining the seller's trust. You must earn it, and you're going to have to work for it. Now, hopefully this will come natural. Some of you guys are really good. I'm really good at connecting people. But if you try to skip trust and go straight in and make a lowball offer, I guarantee you, it will not work. Does everybody understand that? And this is what wholesalers go. They try to be so efficient. Oh my God, I found this property. I'm just going to send them over an offer. I'm not going to work on their trust. And guess what? You're going to have to send about 2,000 to 3,000 contracts to even talk to somebody. So guys, we don't teach that. It's not what we do. Our job is to help the seller solve their problem. The second part of this that you have to do, as I said here, is you have to solve seller's problem. That's right, you have to solve their problem. And honestly, if you can't solve a problem in wholesaling, you are not getting a deal. Rick, how do I solve the problem? Number one, you listen to them. Once you've gained their trust, I'm just going to get behind it and I am going to get to the story. The story is the problem behind the symptom of real estate. If a property is vacant, find out why it's vacant. Nobody willfully chooses to have a vacant property, especially if it's an income producing property. Nobody willingly wants to be in foreclosure. There's usually a reason somebody lost a job. Get to the story, get to the emotion, and this is how you help people solve their problem. Now, most people that we solve a problem here, they want certainty. And if you can give them certainty, meaning you can solve the problem and let them breathe, this is how we make the most money in wholesaling. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up, if you want to be a full-time wholesaler, you have to accept the fact that you have to make low-ball offers. What's your alternative? You're going to make high-ball offers? You can always be the highest-paying buyer, but wholesaling is the art of buying low and selling at medium prices. If we pay high, we have no business, and we have to understand that. So everybody understands, we have to gain trust, and then we have to solve the seller's problem. How do I do it? I get behind the story. The story is the thing that is behind the symptom of the real estate, and then most of them want certainty. The best way to do it is just listen to them. Get your sellers to open up. How do I get them to open up? I gain their trust. I earn their trust. And once I do that, they tell me the backstory. Once I have all that information, guys, let's move forward here. How do we make that lowball offer without getting kicked to the curb? And I know that you guys understand this because we've all lived through it. Now let me show you how most wholesale deals go. Okay? This is what we call the trust factor. And then this right here is the offer cycle. And here's how most wholesalers do this. Okay? Let's be honest with you. People are so eager to get a yes, to get that dopamine rush, to tell everybody I got a contract and brag all over Facebook, only to find out weeks later or a month later, there's no cash buyers for it, you've overpaid for the property, and you are in the worst situation possible because you work for free and now you got to unwind this deal. So let me show you how it typically works. Is most people try to avoid doing the trust factor and they try to go real fast. And then they make the offer right here. And 9 times out of 10, they overpay. And once they overpay for that offer, they keep going, they keep building up that hey, don't worry, I'm gonna get it sold. They drag them on, sometimes up to 30 days, and then guess what happens at the end? They crash and burn, they have to cancel the contract, and it's an absolute, they worked for free. You know why? Because they were so desperate to get that instant dopamine rush of a yes. And they decided not to do the hard work, not to have the hard conversations, and actually help the seller's problem out. Because you see, if I just skip trust, I give the seller exactly what they want, I give them the impression, the expectation that I'm going to meet it, and only at the end to cancel my contract, I work for free, I piss the seller off. Are you guys tired of doing it that way? So if you do it this way, I want you to understand, you waste your time in the sellers, you break the seller's trust because you're never going to be able to fulfill it, you overpay, you overcommit, and then you're almost in an impossible situation to renegotiate. Renegotiate. In fact, I'm telling you right now, they're going to give you such a hassle when you try to get out of that contract to renegotiate. Why? Because you broke their trust. Who's tired of doing it this way? It's all because you guys want that instant yes. but Rick, if I make a low offer, I'm going to hurt someone's feelings. Listen, you have to have difficult conversations to get what you truly want in life. Why would it be any different in wholesaling? In fact, if you will go through this cycle, you will learn the lesson I learned the hard way, that you have no idea what people will take for their property. So your job is to get a no. So we're going to do go for no. So initially what we do is when we start out, we work on building that trust up, right? This is what we call rapport building. This is where we're gaining their trust, right? And you're going to have to spend some time doing this. Now you do it over the phone or you do it in person, it doesn't matter. And then we're going to work up here, and this is so great. And then you guys are going to get to this awkward stage where you have to do what we call a transition. Because this conversation's going so well, you don't want to make the offer, you're scared to death. Now, I already showed you the old cycle where you just went for the yes, and you know how that worked out in the end. So once we do a transition statement is like, Mr. Seller, I could talk to you all day. I love talking about your kids. I love talking about your football team, but I'm here to do a job and see if I can help you solve your problem. Do you mind if we sit down and talk about numbers on the property? This is where most people freak out. You're going to have butterflies in your stomach. It's going to be overwhelming. I want you to understand this is where you are going to make your low offer. Now, I've been doing this 23 years. I'm telling you, it's going to feel awkward. It's going to scare the crap out of you. But I want you to understand, all negotiations like this, we use a technique called go for no. You know why? Because I tried to get a yes the first time and it didn't work out. And your yes is your Achilles tendon in real estate. If somebody takes your first offer, I guarantee you overpaid for the property. So how do we fix it? We just do it backwards. We go for no. Oh, I'm so scared to make this offer. Good, you should be. Because doing a go for no offer gives you the straightest line possible to reduce the tension of a negotiation and get it end result faster than any other way to do it. Let me tell you, the other way, if I got a yes, I dragged them on 30 days and I had to cancel the contract, you didn't make any money, you dragged it on, and you have no ability to renegotiate it. So let's just get it out off the front. I'm going to make that offer. I make the offer at the highest trust point I have. I make the go for no. You know what a go for no is? I'm expecting the first answer to be no. Why? My expectation is there. Once I know I'm going to get a no, I can find out what their bottom line number is. So I'm going to give you a little expectation chart here. Ready for this? This is it, guys. Okay? This is your seller's expectation. It's always high. This is where you start as the wholesaler. And honestly, your offer usually is just going to rely right about in here. And then your go for no is going to be right about here. Most of you start at the yes criteria up here, which is your MAO. And that's the worst thing you can do because you're not going to make any money and you're going to work for free. So what I like to do is if you ever have bad news, when someone comes to you and goes, listen, I got good news and bad news, which do you want first? People always say the bad news. So hit them with the offer. Rick, I don't know what offer to wait. Well, listen, if the property's worth $250,000, just simply divide it in half and add a little bit more on that. I'm going to make an offer of $140,000. Hopefully there's a bunch of repairs, and I'm going to make that offer. And guess what? That trust factor drops way down. And this is what we call the repair stage. Now, this was the bad news, right? Now, right here, I'm going to get what? A response, which is basically your counter. When I get the response, your job is to rebuild that trust and reemphasize how you're going to help the seller's problem and solve their problem. And then we work our way up, and we kind of go all over here. And then this part right here is called the negotiations. Now here's the cool part. If you use the go for no technique and you make a lowball offer, is you have a starting point. So let's say I make that offer. Say the retail on it was $250K, right? Say I made an offer at 140K. It needs no repairs. It's fine with that. And then guess what? They say no. Guess what I'm looking? I'm looking for the response from the seller. Response. They're going to give me a range. So they go, listen, Rick, I talked to my husband. I can't sell this property for less than $162,000. So what do I have? I have 140. And I know the highest number I'd ever pay for this is 162. I just cut weeks out of the negotiation. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to pay 162, but now I know the range is 162 to 140K. What happens if I offered 140K and they said yes? Take it. But you know you're getting a great deal. Now I just got to close that gap. And so I'm going to do negotiations, and I'm going to come up here. And then basically to help close that gap, we do what we call trial closes, which basically says, Mr. Seller, if I could close on this date, if I could give you this amount, if I could pay for closing costs, would you be willing to commit today and move forward with them? And so this looks like a crazy ride, but I'm telling you, this leads to a deal. Now, I'm telling you right now, if you guys are just going to go in and do it the old school way, and you feel obligated to pay close to the MAO, the maximum allowable offer, you're going to be out of business so fast. I love when people make fun of a lowball offer. Everybody's goal in real estate, when it's all said and done, is to pay the least amount for the property, so they have options. There's going to be repairs. They might have to assign it off to someone. They might have to put a renter in there. And he or she that pays the most in wholesaling will never last in business. The reality, guys, is we have to find motivated sellers. Now, let me just go back through this. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to build a rapport. I'm going to find out what problem they want to solve. And then when I get to the tippy toppy, I said, Mr. Seller, I could talk to you all day, but I came here for a reason to see if I could help buy your house and solve your problem. You mind if we talk about it? Now, listen, I've looked at some numbers. I can make you an offer around $140,000. I shut my mouth. I'm expecting a reaction. These are usually a subconscious reaction. They go, absolutely no way. Now, if I've built rapport and trust, I'm not going to get kicked out. It's pretty much a forbidden thing. Now, if I make a lowball offer and I don't build trust, like sending someone an email contract, they're not even going to read it. And for this reason, if you understand, by building trust, getting through that transition state, make that initial offer and find out what the boundaries of your offer are, it's so much easier to negotiate. Guys, we are not selling. We are guiding. We are helping people out. But I want to know that range. And guys, I learned the hard way because I used to over offer on properties. And I would ask the seller after I closed, would you have taken less? And more than half said they would have taken less. So you know what I did is I stopped guessing and I started asking. You know how I started asking? I simply did go for no. Why? It's the fastest path to get a deal in wholesaling. Because guys, if you want to get a yes, you can get a yes. But guess what? I almost guarantee every time you get that initial yes, you overpaid for the property. Did you know that the number one problem in wholesaling is wholesalers like you that overpay for properties? So learn from my mistakes. Embrace the idea of going for no so you can streamline the transaction to get the best result with the least amount of tension in it. We build trust, we do the transition statement, we do go for no, we wait for a response, and then we tighten the parameters, then we negotiate by doing trial closing. Mr. Seller, if I could close on this date, or if I could give you that, or if I could help you out with an estate sale company, can we move forward and get the deal signed? We get a deal signed, and once again, I've reset the seller's expectations, and most of you are trying to come right in here. You need to start down here so you can work your way right up to there. Guys, Go for No has changed my life on how I do wholesale deals, and I'm telling you guys, stop getting worried about chewed out for sellers. You are solving a seller's problem, but you need to find out what the bottom line number is, and keep in mind, if a seller really needs to sell and they're motivated, if you have earned their trust and they believe in you and you've built it up, all you have to do is find the right number that helps the seller solve their problem. By overpaying for the problem, you actually create a bigger problem with the seller. Guys, if you aren't making lowball offers, you're going to get killed in wholesaling. Stop going for the yes, go for no. Do this exact process, replay this video, because every transaction happens just like that. Don't be the person that skips trust, sends them an offer, and wants to know why you can't get a great wholesale deal. You have to work at it, just like any other business, guys. All sellers want are two things. They want to know they trust you, and they want to know you can solve their problem. Are you going to use lowball offers to work with your sellers? Because I only find the people that don't do it are the ones that are scared. I already told you, you're going to have to do some things to make you uncomfortable in wholesaling. If you can't embrace what I have on the board, I'm telling you, this is going to be a tough, tough business. So guys, stop worrying about making lowball offers. Go out there and make them. Follow the philosophy right here. And I'm telling you, it's the fastest way to get the best wholesale deals possible. Remember, you have to buy as low as possible to make wholesaling work. Don't be the guy that overpays for property. So guys, let me know in the comments if you're using this strategy, if you're tired of getting yeses, go for the no to get the ultimate yes. And if you got value from this video, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share the truth about wholesaling with someone you know. This is Rick again. I'll see you guys in the next video.